Put on your helmets and buckle your chin straps for the wildest podcast held in the Steel City. Dubs and Chicken Hawk will give you a taste of the past in fried jumbo. So, you tortured a poor old carny man. Anything else you do for fun down at the attaché?
The attaché. What a name.
What a name. Pardon my French.
We did a lot of crazy things down there, most of which I can't go into too much detail on.
It's all of Disneyland down there.
It's not Disneyland. There were a lot of fist fights, a lot of carrying on, a lot of drinking at bars, a lot of Button, South Button, Fort Lauderdale. These were bars and taverns and stuff. The Button South was a bar in Hollandale, which is just south of us. And then the regular Button was a big-time bar in Fort Lauderdale. So they had like the Button, which was the big main bar, and then the Button South was like its little sister bar.
They still around?
No, they're not. They're there. The buildings are there, but the bars aren't in them anymore. I was just down in Fort Lauderdale maybe 2 years ago. It's a hotel now. I think a big hotel there where the Button was. Yeah.
What's where the attaché is now?
The attaché, they did build something up there. Actually, I think it's part of the Diplomat Hotel now. That land. They built something, and then I think they ended up tearing that down after they built that, and now it's part of the Diplomat. Diplomat's a great big, really, really nice hotel in where the attaché was. It was, when we were there, it was next to us. But I think our hotel was so small relative to it, I think they absorbed it later, you know. But yeah, I'd like to go down there and check that out. See what's happening down that way.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So what else did we do down there? Well, the beach was right there. So we'd go swimming a lot, you know, try to learn how to surf, boogie board, all that kind of crap. The waves weren't really big enough for doing that kind of stuff. We had a couple guys that we were on the job site. I don't know I think they were the plumber guys. They were into spear fishing.
Ooh.
And they would go out sometimes after work, and they had the whole damn thing, like the whole setup. You know, they had the fins and
Sounds like a fun time.
the snorkel and they had the equipment.
Spear guns.
Yeah, and the spear gun and all that kind of stuff.
Never been.
We never had any equipment or money for the equipment.
No.
So we made our own spears out of stuff that we found on the job site. Okay. So we would go out there and try to spear these fish that were out on our reef. So if you went right off ashore, there was nothing there. So you'd have to swim maybe 300 yards.
And you made these spears on your own.
Yeah, we made
What about the gun part of the equation? You got that?
No.
Well, without the gun, spears aren't really...
No. But you got to understand, we were young and dumb.
Yeah.
And we were half drunk most of the time. So we were using spears that was like a mop handle, wooden leg mop handle that we sharpened down and put maybe, I don't know, some metal or a nail into the end of it. And then we would try to swim up on a fish and no, we did have masks.
You had masks at least.
We only had masks. We didn't even have the snorkel thing.
No gun, just spear. You're going at it. Dances with tuna.
Yeah, trying to go out there. So we would go out, and it was weird. It was starting 2 feet of water, then it goes down to maybe 8 foot, and then it would go down to say 35 feet, and then you come to a reef, and then maybe it was 20 feet. So what we would do is we'd go about halfway down, and there'd be fish around it. We'd be throwing the damn thing at the fish, but we weren't ever getting anything.
Mm-mm.
So
probably too fast.
Oh yeah, it was a waste of time, but you're dumb and not smart, so you keep trying. But anyhow, we're out there one day, and I don't know who was out there, but I think it was me and Mike and some other guys, Jeff maybe, would go out there, and when we're looking for fish and things, I'm looking down at the bottom of the ocean there, and I see U.S. currency.
Paper or metal?
Paper.
Oh.
And I don't know what it is, but I can see it's paper money, money. And back then, this was Miami Vice days.
Yeah.
Do you remember that show? You ever hear?
Yeah,
of
this is
Miami?
mob stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone was. It was like cocaine cowboy era.
They're making Tony Montana level cash.
Yeah, where people are just bringing in barrels and barrels of
Push it to
cocaine.
the limit.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they had the cigarette boats, and it was just, it was out of control down there. So I see this money, and I'm thinking, well, somebody got raided by the DEA and must have shipped a ton of money overboard.
Must have bolted.
Yeah, and bolted and left the money behind because it's literally 300 yards from shore. So I swim all the way down there at the bottom. My ears are popping. It's 25 feet deep, so it's hard to get down there. I get all the way down there. It's two $1 bills, which was
all that for
$2.
Okay, well what's that in like 2024 money? Is
nothing.
That bad or
it's not good.
Still nothing.
Because it could have been 20s, it could have been hundreds, it could have been tens. So it's the least possible amount of money for being paper money.
Yeah.
But in my mind, there's a treasure out there, and I just found the edge of the treasure, right? And we got to keep looking because if there's $2 here, there's got to be millions. This is the rationale.
And that's just not some dumb tourist dropped their wallet.
No, because it's too far out. So I'm thinking, yeah, there was some kind of a bust or arrest or something. People threw the money overboard. They used to bail it up in bales. And it's got to be here somewhere.
The treasure of Tony Montana.
It's got to be here. This is Fort Lauderdale. This is when all the drugs and everything were going on. So me and Licks are convinced the money's out there. So literally every day after work, we would get our spears. I think Jeff and them came for a while, but after maybe 5 or 6 times, they were done. It was only me and Mike to the bitter end, where we would just go out every evening looking for this money. And we're going to hey, I don't know, man. If we find this money, I'm not sharing it with these effers. They're not coming out with us. They gave up. You can't quit. You got to keep going. We've had a lot of people on the show that talk about grit. Well, me and Licks, we've decided we're going to stake our whole deal on this thing. And so we're out there night after night after night. So just one particular evening, we're out there. And what we would do, we had a whole freaking regiment that we'd followed. What we'd do is once we got out to where the money was, we would go back to back. So I would be facing one direction. He'd be facing the other direction. And we'd scan. Say I don't know, whatever your view could get. Maybe it's 10 yards this way, 10 yards that way, 10 yards forward. And then we would swim another 10 yards over.
Yeah.
And we redo this in just squares, back and forth, and until, we were just trying to do basically a grid search for this money. Although we really never knew exactly where we started and stopped. So it was probably fruitless. But for us, at least
doesn't the tide carry you west or something?
Yeah, it carries you somewhere.
Yeah.
So
you might be going over the same place.
Over and over again. Of course. Yeah. More than likely.
Yeah.
For sure. So this one time we're out there and we're doing our grid. We would go down in the water, we'd submerge ourselves 10 feet down. I'm looking this way. He's looking the other way. I'm scanning my ground. He's scanning his ground. And when I'm down and I'm scanning, I see something just beyond maybe my 30 or 40 yards that I can see in the water. I see something. And it's like this giant shadow, and I'm I wonder what that is. There must be a boat above us, because sometimes when the boat's above you, you could see the shadow of it on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm like, that must be a boat up there. And I keep looking, and I'm holding my breath. I'm underwater. And I'm looking, and this thing's moving. This shadow's moving. And I'm seeing it's moving like this. And I can't believe what I'm seeing here. And it keeps coming closer and closer and closer. Now it's down on the bottom. And I can see it. And now it hits me. You know, it's a 12, 15-foot fish, which there aren't any fish that are 12 or 15 feet, right?
Yeah.
Other than like a marlin or something. And it was not a marlin because
Probably not a grouper.
No, it's a shark.
Yep. It's a shark.
It's a shark. It's a tiger shark, right?
Yeah.
And it's coming now, and it's coming up to me. Like within, now it's, I don't know, it's happening so fast. Like let's say it's 10 feet now. And I'm hitting Mike like this. I'm hitting Mike. And he's like, you know, he's hitting me back like, leave me alone, leave me alone. What do you want? What do you want? So finally, I hit him and he turns his head and his eyes get this big. He sees it. And now it's like up by us, you know, like almost touches me. You know, it comes right next to me. And it goes around him. He's over where you are.
Yeah.
It goes out around him. And they say, hey, you know, when you watch, don't panic, right? Well, we panicked.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
There was no, hey, let's try to figure out what to do here. It was, we shot to the top. Both of our masks went down around our necks. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to get up so fast, the water flushes your mask down. You can't see a damn thing. And all I'm doing is swimming for my life. And I'm just thinking to myself, a horrible thought. I just got to be faster than Mike. So literally, I don't think we moved. We were paddling. We were swimming, but we weren't going anywhere, I don't think. So my thought was, if that shark would have wanted us, we both would have been dead because we were not moving when we were swimming. We were so panicked. We were literally just swimming in the same spot, I think. You lose your form when you're trying to figure it out. And then we finally make it to shore. And I'm like, you're going to go out tomorrow and look for the money, Mike? He's like, are you freaking crazy? We're done. So that ended my treasure hunt. Because I wasn't going out there by myself.
If that money ever existed, and let's say it did, I think I have a theory on what happened to it.
What happened?
Now, you mentioned that was a tiger shark. You know that tiger sharks are actually known, infamously enough, for their habit of consuming inorganic material, inanimate objects.
Like license plates.
Yeah,
and
license
stuff.
plates.
Yeah.
They're like the garbage cans of the sea.
They see something shiny, they eat it.
So there's a good chance maybe that money was in like a shiny briefcase or something.
And
Tiger shark just went up and ate it. There goes your money.
Yeah, it's living in his stomach now.
Yeah.
In his gizzard.
That's the luck.
That's Fleming luck for sure. But I can look at luck two ways there. Luck is, I look at it this way. I found $2, had endless fun looking like Jacques Cousteau or, you know, some kind of, you know, seaman, you know, looking for some kind of treasure. And then not getting eaten is a pretty lucky thing.
Yeah.
Right? Could have got a leg ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger sharks attack people.
They do.
Remember we were in Hawaii and the lady got killed.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Down from our beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiger shark attack.
Yeah, tiger shark bit her when we were down there. So it could have happened, but we, Irwin Boys lucked out, got out of it. Yeah. So it's interesting how many things happened down at that attaché. There's so many other stories that were pretty crazy. And the final thing that topped it off for me, I was hospitalized my first day. And I was hospitalized my last day.
What happened? The tiger shark come for revenge?
No.
It was the tardy riding the shark.
I tell you what, I think from all the work, because we worked long days. We'd start at 7 in the morning.
In the hot Florida sun, no less.
Yeah, and we'd work till, say, 5 or 6 at night. We'd do 10, 12 hours a day. And then we would go do that crazy shark hunt, or not shark hunt, money hunt.
Yeah, treasure hunt in
so
shark-infested waters.
Yeah, so you're doing treading water for hours. Well, apparently I must have dehydrated myself because we were doing roll call for work one day, the last day that I was down there. Well, second to last day. And we're standing there and I don't know, our boss, Bruce, was saying, hey, here's what you're going to do. Here's what, giving out work assignments to everybody. And I'm standing there with like Jeff, Mike, Billy, Scott. All of us are standing there waiting for assignments. And I just feel really dizzy, all of a sudden, real early in the morning. I'm standing there and I'm like, man, I feel dizzy. I don't know. Next thing I know, I don't know what happens. Lights are out. And I just feel like someone hit me with a baseball bat in the head. But I guess they said I collapsed. And I went limp and I collapsed and I didn't have any way of protecting myself. So my head smashed off the concrete floor. And then I was choking on my tongue. I was swallowing my tongue.
How does that even happen?
I have no idea. But Mike Llewellyn, saved my life. He somehow stuck his hand in there and stopped me from swallowing my tongue. And then I woke up in the hospital and getting fluids and stuff. But I don't remember any of that.
So that you and I both owe our lives to Licks.
Licks.
Thank you, Mike Llewellyn. Licks.
Yeah. Without him, there's no you.
There's no me. There's no my sister. There's no dad. You saved 3 lives for the price of 1.
Price of 1. Yeah. So good old Licks. Yep. So next day, there were some guys from Sharon, PA. They were on a painting crew. And they were going home for something to get more supplies or something. So I jumped in the back of their truck and rode home in the back of their pickup.
That's how you got back home?
Yeah.
So what was it like?
They dropped me actually off at the Irwin exit. And then I think my sister or brother or somebody, I can't remember. I think it was my sister picked me up at the Irwin exit.
How did it feel coming back, adjusting back to life in Irwin after all that time in Hollywood, Florida?
I thought it was sad in a way, because I missed the guys. And I missed that excitement down there. But in another way, it helped me sort of transition, and I had to go to college in a couple weeks. And I had to try to get some weight back on. So from that standpoint, it was good. Because, like I said, I was 205, went down there, and came back 160 something. So what's that, 45 pounds in
something like that.
2.5 months I lost.
Unheard of.
So it was crazy. But the good news is when I went to football camp, I could run like the wind because I was lighter and, I was, they had a 880 yard. That's what it used to be. 800 meters is what they do now, but 800 meter dash. And I can remember I took second in that thing because I was so light on my feet. I felt like I could run forever.
There you go. The secret workout regimen you don't know and you should try. Working in the hot Florida sun with no AC for 3 months.
3 months and drinking beer, eating beef jerky, a little bit of fried jumbo here and there, some peanut butter, some Jif.
Results may vary.
For sure. But I think everybody came home from there pretty skinny. Trust me, no other way to get out of it down there. It's screaming hot.
If you're coming back heavier, you must be doing something wrong.
There's no way.
Or something right. Depends on how you look at it.
Or you could have just been hiding in a closet instead of working like we were. That's what brought a better move. Just go in that TV room where all them TVs were and just kind of set up, turn one on and just watch TV in there.
What do you guys watch usually?
It was right in those Miami Vice days. So we were watching, back then it would have been that kind of stuff. The Cosby Show, what do you call it? The kid with Alex P. Keaton. What was that show? Family Ties. Those kind of, it was all sitcom stuff.
One of the assistant directors for Miami Vice, or at least the pilot, he is a professor at RMU, Robert Morris.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. He talked to my high school once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everything was just network based back then. Cable really wasn't blowing it out yet. You had HBO and you had a couple other things.
And of course, streaming won't be there for another, 30 years?
30 years.
Yeah.
Back then, it was just 3 channels. You had ABC, CBS, and you had NBC. And then you had 2 sort of off channels that were like a Fox-based or something like that, or I'm trying to remember, but it was Channel 22 and Channel 53. So you had basically 5 channels, but all of the programming that people watched, was pretty much on the three major networks. Cable, TBS came in later, and all these other A&E and Discovery and all that stuff came maybe within 5 or 10 years later. But there was none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why, like MASH, the record will never be beaten for MASH was their final episode. 73 million people watched that or something like that.
Because everyone watched the same thing back then because there weren't as many options. Now it's decentralized. There's never really been any. Yeah, no one's really watching a show. Everyone's not really watching the same show anymore.
No.
The last thing I can remember was anything kind of like that was Squid Game. And even then, nowhere near the amount because you have people who don't have Netflix. You have people who might not be interested in watching a foreign language show.
Yeah, right now it's just all a la carte.
It's all
you
choosing.
Pick what you want and when you want to watch it. So it's based on convenience. But I think what it has done, because there's so many different outlets, it's increased the quality of the programming.
Yeah.
It's significantly better. You start watching all these different shows that are on Netflix and you name it, all these different outlets that they have. They're so well written and so well presented and produced. It's amazing. At any given time, you could have 10 or 20 great shows running, and you got years of this material. So a lot of people say it was better when it was the other way. It wasn't, because you only had 3 outlets, and they sort of kept the content to themselves. It was almost an oligopoly. It was basically an oligopoly.
Yeah.
You had 3 or 4 people. Now you have so many outlets, and you have to be really good at what you do. So you're seeing some fantastic programming.
Any other comments on your time at the attaché?
All I'm going to say about that time was, because I have a million other stories about, Beefsteak Charlie's, this restaurant we used to go to, and it was unlimited drinking.
I feel like I've heard of that. Is that still around?
No. But there was when we were, like I said, we didn't have much food. Mm-mm. But Beefsteak Charlie's had this place that you could get ribs, chicken, and barbecue meat. What do they call that stuff that's like cooked steak or whatever?
Brisket?
Brisket, yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the place in Austin, Terry Black's.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah.
But it was unlimited. You could eat all you can eat for a certain price. And back then, that price was probably $10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for $10, you can go there, and you got unlimited ribs and all that kind of brisket and stuff, and you could have unlimited beer as long as you were still eating.
Really?
Yeah, and they had a salad bar on there with shrimp, like cold shrimp
cut
cocktail.
Shrimp.
Yeah, shrimp cocktail. So we would put in shifts there between, all us Irwin guys. We'd take other guys there too, and we would put in shifts for hours and hours there. Literally, we would be crawling out of the place.
Oh my!
Because once we were so full from eating, we would still order more food, because you had to be ordering more food to get alcohol.
Yeah.
And we would actually put the bone, the meat that would come out that was needed to be eaten, we would put it under the bones we had already eaten. We'd hide it because we wanted to keep drinking beer. Or we put all them shrimp shells on top. So we'd have this giant mound of stuff in the middle of the table, because for us, even though we were hungry or starving all the time, and this was a great meal for us, we were there to see how many glasses of beer we could all drink. And I'm sure there was some guys, that probably managed to get 20 beers down in a couple
Impressive.
Pretty impressive stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, but we had that going for us down there. But there were so many different things we did from a fun standpoint. We go out in the Everglades and chase crocodiles, or not crocodiles, but alligators.
No, they do got crocodiles there.
They do?
Yeah, American crocodile. Only place in the States where you can find them.
Yeah, I don't think we would see them, but we would run up on these gators in these little boats. We'd have a little 10 horsepower motor. In this place called Holiday Park, had gators everywhere back in there. And we would drive around in these boats and carry on back in there. We just did all kinds of great stuff down there. It was so much fun.
I'd definitely love to visit the Everglades. Sounds like a great place.
Oh, the Everglades is the greatest. It's the greatest place ever. We got to go down this spring, like the Tamiami Trail, and you won't believe it. You drive along there, and every, say, 100 yards, there's 5 giant alligators.
Holy moly.
I mean, they're massive in these canals along there. And I fished it last time I was down there. You can't even get a fish in because
oh, right. Alligators and crocs will get it.
They'll grab it. Yeah, and eat it. Yeah, you have to reel them in real fast. Yeah. So, no, Florida's a great place, man. I mean, it's just so interesting. It has such a great fishery, and, the Everglades are fantastic. The ocean's great. It's just a lot of fun.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, brother, we better wrap her up.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So
this is fun.
That's the story of the attaché.
The attaché.
All right.
To the attaché.
To the attaché. Attaché!
Attaché!